You know, we often think of the future as something that creeps up on us slowly, over decades. But sometimes, it all happens in a single week. We're going to take a look at one of those weeks, back in late October 2025. Just 7 days that, in some pretty profound ways, quietly redrew the map of power, technology, and, well, human progress itself.
I mean, it sounds like the beginning of a really weird joke, right? You've got a weapon that can basically circle the globe, you have money that only exists as computer code, and then there's a political shakeup on an island. On the surface, they seem totally, completely random. But are they really?
Well, here's the kicker. They all went down in the exact same week. Every single one of these stories is like a little signal, a flare going up, showing us a much, much bigger shift that's happening under the surface. And by looking at them all together, we get this incredible snapshot of a world hitting the fast-forward button.
All right, first up, let's dive into the high-stakes world of global strategy. This is where cutting-edge technology is literally rewriting the old rules of power.
Okay, so it all starts with a single name, Burevestnik. In Russian, it means storm petrel. It's this tough seabird, and the name is meant to bring to mind ideas of raw power, of endurance, of something that can fly through any storm. Pretty fitting, it turns out, for Russia's newest strategic weapon.
Yeah, this thing is not your typical rocket. The Burevestnik, or Skyfall as NATO calls it, is powered by its very own tiny nuclear reactor. And what that means is, in theory, its range is unlimited. During a recent test, it flew for 15 hours straight, covering almost 14,000 kilometers. Think about what that allows it to do. It can fly at low altitudes, taking weird, unpredictable routes that completely sidestep traditional missile defense systems, which, by the way, are all designed to track a simple, predictable arc through the sky. This is a different beast entirely.
So while Russia is testing these futuristic weapons, in that very same week, India was looking back at a pivotal moment in its own military history. The country celebrated its 79th Infantry Day, which honors the very first military operation of independent India. It happened back in 1947, just a single day after the Instrument of Accession was signed. Indian troops landed in Srinagar to secure the region, and it's a moment of incredible national pride that's honored every year on October 27th.
And look, this isn't just about history. That sense of pride, that military resolve from the past, it directly fuels India's strategy today. And for India, that future is all about strengthening its Act East policy. And this isn't just talk. It was made official at the 22nd ASEAN-India Summit, declaring 2026 the Year of Maritime Cooperation. Might sound a bit symbolic, but it's a really strategic move. It's all about building stronger, more resilient supply chains, boosting maritime connections, and just generally deepening partnerships across that entire Indo-Pacific region.
Okay, so we've got military power plays and big diplomatic moves. But in that exact same week, a whole different kind of power was making waves, the kind being built on circuit boards and sent into orbit, shaping both our daily lives and our planet's future.
So get this. On October 27th, Japan, a country that is famously, almost stubbornly, in love with physical cash, took this massive leap into the digital age. They launched something called JPYC. It's the world's first stablecoin that's pegged directly to the Japanese yen. Now, a stablecoin is just a digital currency that's designed to hold a steady value. So in this case, 1 JPYC is always worth 1 yen. It's fully backed by actual yen and government bonds, so it's a serious project. This is basically Japan planting its flag in the digital currency world and directly challenging the dominance that US dollar-backed stablecoins have had for so long. It's a huge pivot for one of the world's biggest economies.
Which brings us to another fascinating question. We've mapped our land, we've mapped our oceans, but what about the atmosphere? This invisible ocean of air all around us. I mean, how on earth do you map something you can't even see, like the wind, in 3D, from space?
Well, the answer, it turns out, comes from a Hong Kong startup called Stellaris Technology. Their project is called the Philian Constellation, named after an ancient Chinese god of the wind, and it's the first project in the world designed to do exactly that. They're launching this whole network of satellites to give us this unbelievable 3D dataset on wind, speed, direction, even how it moves up and down. This is going to completely revolutionize everything from your daily weather forecast to our most complex models of climate change.
All right, so we've talked about missiles and money and satellites. Let's bring this all back down to Earth. Because at the end of the day, all of this tech and all of this strategy, it's always about people, their choices, their wins, and their well-being. Over in Ireland on October 24th, we saw a pretty huge political shift.
An independent left-wing leader, Catherine Connolly, was elected the country's 10th president. And look, this wasn't just a close race. She won with a staggering 63% of first preference votes. That's a landslide. And what that tells analysts is that the political mood in Ireland might be seriously changing.
Meanwhile, in the world of sports, it was an absolutely golden week for Indian chess. Grandmasters D. Gukesh and Divya Desmukh both snagged gold medals at the really prestigious European Chess Club Cup. It was just an incredible display of dominance on the world stage and perfect timing right before the World Cup in Goa. So you've got these amazing individual wins, which are so inspiring, right? But some of the biggest, most profound changes happen when we talk about large-scale projects that are aimed at improving the lives of millions of people at once.
In that very same week, the World Bank signed off on a massive investment, a huge health project in Kerala, India. And the number is just wow, $280 million. But honestly, the dollar amount isn't even the most important part of this story.
No, the real story is this number. That investment is specifically designed to improve healthcare access and quality for 11 million elderly and vulnerable citizens. That's what it's all about.
And this is such a great example of what modern public health looks like. It's not just about building a few more hospitals. It's about thinking bigger. It's about creating a health system that can withstand climate change, using digital tools to help manage chronic diseases like diabetes, and making sure the whole project lines up with the UN's global goals for health and climate action.
So, let's just recap for a second. A new superweapon that changes military math, a new digital currency that alters global finance, a new way to literally see our planet's climate, a political earthquake, personal triumphs in sport, and a massive investment in people's health. All of it unfolding in just 7 days.
It really makes you think, doesn't it? When you see all these different tectonic plates shifting at the exact same time, strategy, technology, people, you have to wonder, which of these tremors is going to be the one that causes the big earthquake, the one that really defines the next chapter for all of us? That's definitely something to chew on. Thanks for tuning in.